Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Raul Infante, here with Taking Dish Sports, here with my co-host, Hugo Dominguez.
How's it going, Raul? What's up, guys?
Hey, so today we actually got a special guest. I'm going to give you a hint. He was actually the winner of the Ultimate Fighter Season 27, standing with a 9-0 record right now, and he's hailing out of New York, actually fighting out of New Jersey. He goes by the name of Mike, the Lone Wolf, Trizano. Mike, say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, so Mike, I want to start off by letting you know, hey, I'm going to be 100% honest. We're from Massachusetts. I'm a Massachusetts guy. I saw you with your New York Yankees gear on. So in the Ultimate Fighter finale, I had to go with my man Joe for that fight, but you underfanded me in that Veterans Weekend. I just want to put that out there.
Hey, no, you got to do what you got to do, man. I mean, you got to always be on your Boston side. And
It was one of those things right there where it was like Massachusetts against New York, so I thought it was a funny thing there. So, we were rooting hard, but, ended up with the W, got the UFC contract. We know that you had the 4 amateur kickboxing championships. Can you describe your road to get to the UFC?
A long one. I have over 30 fights as an amateur between kickboxing, MMA, boxing. I did it all. I did tons of jiu-jitsu tournaments, just trying to get my game well-rounded. My coaches didn't even want me to go pro until I was winning expert divisions in the Nagas. Oh, wow. And they wanted me to win championships in amateur kickboxing. I did a few boxing fights, and then I did a lot of amateur MMA fights, and then here I am. It was a long road. I honestly didn't even expect to do the Ultimate Fighter. I had just fought Bellator, and they actually offered me, like, they wanted to talk about they didn't offer me anything right off the bat, but like they definitely wanted to talk about a long-term deal. And I told them, I was like, look, I don't want to do anything long-term. I was only 6-0 at the time.
Right.
Got plenty of time to build my experience. I want to leave everything open. I don't want to be locked in. And then literally like 2 weeks after my fight in Bellator, they made the announcement for the show and the tryouts and everything. You had to be undefeated, and and I was just like, you know what? Why not? What's the worst that can happen? I don't get in. And
right.
Yeah,
long
Mike.
story short, it paid off. So
Hey, Mike, I have a question. So just going back to your roots, what was actually your first martial arts that you tried out?
So I trained out of Tiger Showman's, and they're actually the first place I really ever tried. I started training in high school when I was 17, so I've been doing this 10 years. And one of my buddies' moms actually was just doing it just to work out, and he's like, "Oh, they got a legit fight team, this and that. You should check them out." I went in, like within a minute of the class, I was like dead. So I got hooked, and
so that was a gym. That was a mixed gym. You got to train in all different types of martial arts right off the bat.
Yeah, we do everything. Like I was just saying, I was finishing up teaching a class. Like I teach for Tiger Showman's in Paramus, New Jersey. I'm the head instructor here, and we do everything: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, kickboxing. You name it, we do it, and we put everything together. And we have a really good fight team. We got a lot of upcoming amateur guys, so we're out there. I mean, we got 5 guys in the UFC currently, so it speaks for itself.
Great.
Right, and that actually brings up my point. I was gonna ask you, what does Tiger Showman actually mean to you? I know the man has his martial arts camp out there that you fight out of. You made that clear in your last fight with Luis Pena. Can you just talk about the importance and what kind of role model that man is to you, especially in the successful career that you've had so far in the UFC and MMA altogether?
He's just like another father figure, man. I mean, it goes way past just fighting. I mean, anyone who's into martial arts, in the beginning, a lot of us don't even like think about fighting at first. Like we just get into competition just because that's part of growing as a martial artist. Jumping into things, trying to and face them head on, and competition's the best way to do it. So we kind of just fall into it. But he teaches us a lot. I've gained so much self-discipline and self-confidence that I everything I've learned over the last 10 years doing martial arts, I wouldn't trade it for anything. You couldn't offer me any amount of money. It's the time and experience I put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears. Like,
Right.
I don't know where I'd be without it. I mean, I was always the type of person to like to test myself. My career didn't hit off. It did. I probably would have been in the military. I wasn't good at school, and I really had no direction, honestly. And this gave me structure, and it put a hunger and a drive in me that I still have now. I don't think about being undefeated. Everyone always asks me like, "Oh, does that put pressure on you? This and that." And I don't think about it. I just think about each fight I go into, the guy's going to be better, so I got to get better.
Right.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You got a point for him? I got one.
No, I was just going to ask, out of all, since you started mixed from the beginning, is there any, whether it's grappling, I know Raul's more of a striking guy. I do jiu-jitsu on my free time. I'm more of a grappling guy. Is there any one martial arts you like more than the other, specifically?
I mean, I like standing up.
He's a kickboxer. He's a kickboxer.
that's
Come
true,
on,
that's
I
true.
knew that.
Yeah.
But I'm really good at jiu-jitsu. Like, people underestimate my jiu-jitsu, and then, like, majority of my fights, guys try and take me down. I'm comfortable off my cut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm relaxed. Like, you get me down, you got me down, but I still have a whole arsenal waiting for you. So, that's why I like mixed martial arts so much, is that I have so many options. Like, if I've done just kickboxing, I've done just jiu-jitsu matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's good, but you're limited. The dude's beating you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the one thing you have. But like for MMA, like let's just say they're piecing me up standing, I can try and take them down.
Yeah.
Let's just say their jiu-jitsu's legit and I'm getting tossed around. Well, I can keep it standing. There's just so many options, and there's always a counter to something. It's just interesting to me, and I love playing. I love playing it. It's like a chess match.
Right. So now speaking of that topic, when you fought Luis Pena, he's known as one of those guys that has a high level of submissions. He came into that fight against you 5-0, and 4 of those were submissions. So obviously, he's unique because he's one of those long fighters. Obviously, being 6'3", being that tall, it's strange to see him in one of those lower divisions in weight. So. When you went into that fight, I know prior to the fight you had stated that your strategy was to chop him down, and you obviously came out and really started utilizing that inside leg kick. Nowadays, a lot of fighters I've noticed and that we've spoken to are using actually the calf kick because they state that the calf kick the calf actually gives out quicker than using that higher kick. Is that something that you're looking to utilize in the near future in your career?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Master Tiger Showman pretty much watches film for me. I mean, I don't watch that much film, but it all depends on the type of guy I'm fighting. I mean, I love throwing leg kicks. Like they're very underutilized, like you said, and they do a lot of damage. It only takes a few in the same exact spot, and it changes the course of the fight. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like calf kicks do more. It gives out sooner. It's harder for blood to travel in your calf muscle and stuff, and when you start bruising and just getting hit there, it takes a toll quick. Somebody, Jimmy Rivera, who trains with us, hits some nasty calf kicks. Like sparring with him sometimes, it just like I keep all my weight on my back leg. So
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Taking a Jimmy Rivera calf kick.
Right, man. 20 fights in a row. I mean, he's doing something right. If he won that many, he had that win streak. So, so like I said before, the reason why I became such a fan of you was because of the shout out that you gave to the veterans. For those people that don't know me personally, I served 6 years in the Marine Corps, and it was by far one of the greatest experience, if not the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. It was the best decision I ever made. And, there's fighters that go out and say, like yourself, Mike, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys. I let you know that my life would be miserable if it wasn't for you guys, because let me tell you, my life would be boring if I wasn't in front of the TV, watching you guys go at it, trying to take your heads off every single friggin' week.
Yeah, no, I mean, we do put our lives on the line, but it's nothing compared to what you guys do. So, you can give me all the credit, but I'm sorry, but you guys get all the credit.
Well, hey, thank you. Hey, how about we meet mutual, right in the middle.
Yeah, no, that's fine by me.
All
But
right. I don't want any problems. Yeah.
I've had a ton of family in the military. I mean, one of my cousins, he's stationed in Hawaii. He's an Army Ranger. He went to West Point.
Right.
I have the utmost respect for you guys, and I always will. So, I mean, I'm actually I'm selling. I came out with a fight shirt. There's a few more days left for the pre-order. It ends on Friday, but I'm donating all the proceeds to support a wounded veteran, helping them get a service dog. So, if you guys want to help the cause, by all means,
Yeah, absolutely. You're helping us. Why not?
Yeah, the link is on my social media, so go check it out. Get a shirt. All the proceeds are going to them. So
You hear that? That's Mike Trizano right there. His Instagram is actually the Lone Wolf. You can also search his name and it'll pop up right there. So yeah, go and get your shirts, guys. Go support the wounded veterans. Mike, again, I'm glad that you're supporting us, and we're gonna continue on and support you on Taking This Sports. So is there anything that you actually want to pass on to Mike right now?
I did want to ask him about his next matchup, actually, with Grant. So what do you think going into that? You guys are both have great records going in. He's 13-1. You're 9-0. What do you think about this matchup coming up?
I'm so excited for this matchup because I like the way Grant fights. He likes the pressure, and I like to move forward too. So I think we're gonna meet head on, and I'm excited. Enough of these split decisions. I'm so sick of them. I want fireworks, and I want blood, and I just want mayhem. That's
so
what
do
I want.
we. So do we.
Yeah.
So do we as fans, of course.
So I gotta ask you a question because, like we say, we don't only watch sports here; we analyze them. So that being said, I noticed when you fought Luis Pena, the one time that he really had you in some sort of trouble, where he went for the rear naked choke, he took your back. The way he set that up was he actually set it up by throwing the jab first. Once he took that step back, he was able to close the distance. I noticed on the Grant Dawson fight that in his last fight in the UFC a couple months ago, he actually was setting that up with that left hook and instantly going for the takedown. Is that something that you worry for when you're considering this fight, or is it I'm confident in my jiu-jitsu, let's see where it goes?
Yeah, no, I'm confident in my takedown defense and my jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to stand in there and exchange some leather.
So the next question is going to be, we know that the 155 division is stacked. I mean, really, really stacked. The UFC is extremely fun in 155, 185, you name it. All the divisions are stacked right now. I know you had talked about feeling comfortable at lightweight because the cut was a lot easier. Is featherweight a division that you would consider because it'll be an easier route for you, or are you just gonna push through at 155 and see where you go there?
Well, this next fight in Rochester's at 145. It's a featherweight fight.
Oh, my mistake. I thought it was 155. So I guess you answered that there.
So, I mean, I thought about staying at 155, but obviously as I get older, it's going to be harder to cut weight, and obviously, right. You bulk up as time goes on. But I can comfortably make 145. I'm just when it's time to get serious and focus on the diet and the training, I do it. And I got a great nutritionist working with me for this fight, Paul Ayatamasi, and it's been easy. I'm eating a lot of food and the weight's falling off, so I can't argue with that. But 55, I can wake up and I'm good. 55 is not even a cut for me. But look, I did well at 55, so God forbid shit at Savannah at 45, or let's just say 45 is getting way too hard of a cut, I know I can go 55, so I'm good.
So I don't know if you tuned in, but the Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway fight was a hell of a fight. It's 100%, right? So that those guys, it took them a long time to fight each other again. I saw you and Luis Pena easily as the top guys coming out of the Ultimate Fighter 27. He gets injured. You end up with the W. You guys hash it out anyways, and you end up winning. Do you think that's a guy that somewhere down the line you'll probably meet again?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. You never know with this sport, man. It's so unpredictable. Hey, if he starts winning and getting better, and I start winning and getting better, and we're in the top 10, and they're like, oh, we want you guys to fight again, then so be it. I don't care. I just want to fight. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Speaking of, you guys have that's two tough, famous fighters we have now coming out of T.U.F 27. So I actually wanted to ask you, I watched The Contender, but I think T.U.F, I grew up watching T.U.F. That's how I got into UFC. I think T.U.F does a better job building stars and building you guys up so we get to know you better right before you make your UFC debut. What do you think about bringing T.U.F back as opposed to the Contender Series? Do you have any thoughts on that? I was just wondering. Being a tough winner and how much it's done for you.
Yeah, I definitely think the Ultimate Fighter definitely tests the guy's mental strength over the Contender Series. I mean, the Contender Series, yeah, they publicize the guys and stuff, but they're not locked in a house for 6 or 7 weeks, and without any communication with the outside world, and I had to fight twice within 8 days, so it's
crazy.
It's pretty tough, and hence the name.
Yeah, exactly. So, I felt like we learned a lot from fighters when we watch T.U.F. We watch them for a long time over a whole season, and we learn a lot. And the guy who comes out of that T.U.F tournament, literally, we know is, especially your season, the undefeated season, we know you're a tough guy starting in your debut of the UFC. We know who you are, behind the scenes outside of the octagon. And I love T.U.F, and I hope the UFC can bring it back. I think it's a great way to build fighters.
Right.
Look, I mean, I wouldn't do it again, but anybody that is looking to take that next step, I think the Ultimate Fighter is like the best route. It really brings the best out of you. It puts you in an uncomfortable situation, and I think that's what makes the best fighters and the best fights, because you have two options: either break or break the other person. That's
right.
You see in all the other seasons and stuff like that, some people just like lose their mind and like mentally like just can't handle it. It's so hard because you're away from everything, and you start to go stir crazy a little bit. And I think that's having mental strength is like most of the battle when it comes to competition anyway. You could be super talented, but if mentally you're not there, you're going to fold. Right. I mean, we've seen it countless times. The more talented guy, they look phenomenal. They're flashy, this and that. Other guys like okay technique, this and that, but they go in there and kick that dude's ass. Like it doesn't matter. You got it. It's all who's got the heart and who doesn't.
Right. So, my last question here is: so you're fighting in Rochester, New York. You're a guy from New York. The fans are gonna be behind you. What kind of pressure does that put on you? Because we've seen it before, and Chris Weidman, fighting in New York, and it seemed like the pressure kind of got to him moving forward. He kind of got off his game plan against Joel Romero. What does that do to a fighter fighting in their hometown? Does it change the way that you start off in a fight?
No, man, we feed off that crowd. I enjoy. I look forward to walking out and my place erupting. That gets me so amped up. Win or lose, I'm going in there in a cage with another dude and trying to just kill each other. Like, it takes a lot of courage. Like, the way I look at it, win or lose, whatever happens after the fight, people are going to forget about it within like 2 weeks, and then they move on to the next thing. Like,
Right.
In my opinion, it doesn't put pressure on me. Pressure is a made up thing. There's only pressure if you make it. So
Right.
that goes back to the whole mental strength thing. You
Right.
put all unnecessary pressure on you. Oh, I have to win. Oh, no, if I don't win, this is going to happen. Then you're already headed down the wrong path.
Correct.
That's a great way to look at it, Mike. Yeah.
Anything else, man?
I don't have anything. That's a great way to look at it, though, man.
Well,
You're mentally strong, and I've loved watching you fight in the Ultimate Fighter and the UFC. It's great to interview. This is kind of surreal for me. Thank you.
The only time we'll root for New York out here. Hey, on a serious note, though, again, Mike the Lone Wolf Trizano, he's 9-0 in the UFC. He's gonna be fighting at the 145 division. Let's get that corrected. Tune in. He's gonna be fighting May 18th on a stacked card. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you go and kick some butt out there.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Good night, guys.